It's been a long process, but it's speeded up recently. Dad played here for 10 years. In the 80s, he was captain. He had a great career. I signed straight out of school, played here for 3 seasons, and I was your classic squad player in the Championship. I was playing, and I think I was on not very much money for a lot of time. It got to the end of 2010, and I'd been out to play in Australia, and I came back, and the club turned around and said, look, we won't need to play, but at the minute we don't have any money for your contract, blah-de-blah. And this is a situation where loads and loads of rugby players, it's a pretty common story. Can you come and train, and then we'll find you some money afterwards, whatever. And I thought, yeah, all right, no worries. I trained for a couple of weeks. Did that, trained for 2 weeks, and then, I don't have any money. It was a pretty simple conversation with Dawsey. He was like, okay, Graham, you said that you're going to find some money. How are you getting on with it? Because I literally can't put any petrol in the car. And he turned around and he said, that my dad had been successful in the background as a businessman. And he said to me, okay, well, can you speak to your dad and see if he can do anything to help you out in the time being, just to tide you over while we look for some more money. So I went back to Dad thinking, oh yeah, that'll be all right. Sat across the table with him, and he just sat very, very sort of straight, looked me down the eye and said, you want me to pay your wages to go and essentially work for another business? And I was like, I didn't really think about it like that. He said, well, no. He said, if you want to earn money from here, you've got to work. And I said, well, I can't work and train at the same time. He said, well, you'll have to train in the evenings, won't you? So I went to work, and I realised just how miserable my life as a rugby player was. I loved it. I got into work at 8 in the morning. I went home 5 at night. I earned fair money, and I played rugby on a Saturday and enjoyed it. And I just thought, what have I been doing for the last 3 years? You get to that level, and maybe that mindset's part of the reason why I never played for England or went a lot further. But you do get to that level when you're around 20 and you think, do you know what? I'm probably not going to play for England now. You never know what's going to happen in the future, but you do sort of look around and you gauge where you are, where other people are, and where you're going to go. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm knocks on the head. I'm going to play for Saltash, and I'm going to enjoy my rugby because it wasn't enjoyable. This opportunity for me is massive because Plymouth has everything. Plymouth Albion particularly has absolutely everything geared up to succeed, but we're just not getting it right, and we're not hitting where we need to. So we've got a fantastic ground. We've got the biggest support base in National 1 and pretty much the Championship. We've got a lot of businesses in Plymouth who are willing to spend money and support, and we've also got a good group of lads and players. So at that point I sort of decided, right, okay, this is what I want to do. So I came over, and I felt a bit awkward because I actually played for Cornwall in 2015, which is where a lot of this squad comes from. So I played with a lot. The last sort of interaction I had with these guys was I played with them in 2015 for Cornwall. So I felt a bit awkward about being involved in the rugby. So I said, okay, well, I'll come, but I'll be general manager. Rugby doesn't come into it. I don't want to. It's a bit of a conflict of interests. But I pretty quickly realised that probably a year into it, that actually the two things are synonymous. I was thinking, okay, Chiefs technique and Tony Rose, pretty famous for saying, this isn't a rugby ground, this is a conferencing centre that can host rugby. Yeah. Exactly, so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get the off-field going with the club, I wanted to bring in other revenue streams, but I went too far the other way. And I realised actually the two things, like I said, have got to be synonymous. The rugby's got to be going well, you've got to get people through the gate, and then the off-field's got to be going well. So a few things happened, and then there was a place there and available, and I spoke to the board and said, well, look, I've been here a year, we've managed to turn it around, we made a small profit, we made a loss the year before. Things are going in the right direction, but I think we need some joined-up thinking from the very top. And that doesn't mean that I go out and coach the players or tell the coaches what to do. It just means that there's always one person that's got their feet in both camps. So we sort of got there, bringing in like-minded people. So we've been spending a couple of years just building this team. So Damien is driven, he wants to get to the Championship. Chris Bentley, who's my off-field commercial side, he's played rugby at the highest level. He's been in a team that's successful, got promoted from the Championship to the Premiership. Damien's got 2 Premiership winning medals. It's setting that culture both on and off the field and being joined up, which I finally feel like we're getting there now. And I'm a great believer that 3-4 years ago we didn't have this team in place, and now we do, and we have this foundation that we're building off. We want to do things slightly differently and just make sure that, yes, you can earn money coming and playing for Plymouth Albion. Yes, you can take a paycheck, you can earn good money. But actually what's more important is your life away from rugby and being prepared for the real world. Now that doesn't mean give up on your dreams of going as far as you can in rugby, but it just means, look, be prepared that if it doesn't work out, you've got something to fall back on. That's the way we're going, and I finally feel like we've got everyone on the same page And that's, the plan now is very much, we want to be championship ready. This year I expect us to be in the top 4. The following year I expect us to be challenging for promotion, if not promoted. Just making sure that Albion's in the absolute best position to push on.
How are the finances?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Had the conversation with a couple of players. We lost probably 20%. We take about 20% of our revenue in a 2-week period. We had the varsity match, the St Luke men's walk. Then we had first and second in the league. All the hospitality was sold out. And I had like a morning out of a film. I came in on Monday and it was just like dominoes. And I thought, we just paid a VAT bill. I know that people deferred VAT. We just paid a big VAT bill because it was that time of the year. We didn't have enough money in the bank to meet the wages, and that was the story. I was just thinking, who's going to put their hand in their pocket when there's a worldwide pandemic? And I thought, this is all over. But actually, step by step, we've emerged from being terrible to actually now in the position we're in, looking really strong. And I'm glad, it's the first time I've ever said that, I'm glad to be a National 1 because we don't have those overheads. And I really feel, and this isn't like a ha-ha thing, I really genuinely feel for some of these teams in the Championship and above because it's completely out of their control. Their overheads are so big and there's nothing they can do to stop them. Luckily, with the way we've run the club in the last 4 years, we've run a tight ship. Maybe we've been criticised for not spending so much on the players on the field, but the fact is we don't have any big debts. So when everything stopped, we didn't have to find 50, hundreds of thousands to pay people off. We stopped, our income stopped, but then so did our debts. So like I said, we've gone from terrible to feeling very strong and confident. We're good, we're looking forward and we're ready to go, but we just need to be given the green light from the RFU and so when we can play some rugby.
September?
I don't think so.
No.
Middle September maybe? October, I'm thinking October.